Today in the show, it's the start of a new Lezhin recap series. So in this recap series, I'm actually going to be covering 3 different comics from Lezhin, all about Lust, Dark Haven, and Dolphin Fairy. There's going to be 5 episodes in the series, and in each episode there's going to be a giveaway, so make sure you stick around to find out how to enter. We're going to be covering the complete first season of All About Lust, the first 30 chapters of Dark Haven, and as much as we can of Dolphin Ferry, it's still ongoing, and I don't know how much is going to be released during the time of filming, so we'll just see how that one goes. But you know what? Even if we're not able to cover every single chapter in it, it gives you a reason to go and read it on Lezhin. I know covering 3 series in one video might be a bit much for some people, so if you feel like it's a bit much, please let me know in the comments down below and I'll see what I can do to maybe adjust the format. Maybe I'll split all 3 series into separate videos. Who knows? I don't mind if it increases my workload, so long as things are comfortable for you, because I love Lezhin a lot and I just want to talk about them. Also, being very clear and transparent before we do get started, the series is sponsored by Lezhin. They were kind enough to sponsor my Royal Servant series, and they came back to me and said they liked those videos and they'd like me to do some more. So first things first, we're going to start with Dark Haven, or Heaven. Not really sure which one. So the first chapter actually starts out with this band performing, and their movements sort of seamlessly go into a montage of 2 men having sexy sex. I can't express to you how well this flows. This flows better than any comic I read, any manga I read, full stop. And it's crazy it's a situation like this where it works so well. So go and read this comic just to check this out. Our story then skips to 2 years later. The singer we saw performing is now super famous. Apparently he left the band and then overnight he became a sensation. He's really well known for being happy all the time. His name is Simon, and as much as his public life is great, his personal life is a bit shaky. He's having sex with random men, making them wear a long black wig that looks like the hair of the guy that he was sleeping with at the beginning, and he's taking some pretty hardcore drugs, to the point that when his manager walks in on him having sex, the manager is just like, okay, you know what, finish up, you're high as hell, you've got a rehearsal to go to, so just do what you're doing, and then we'll go to rehearsal. And then cuts to the other guy we saw at the beginning, whose name is Connor, and he's with a woman, and according to this mushroom, things between him and this woman are going bad. Very bad. Then we're back with Simon. He's basically being told off by his management. They're telling him that if people found out that he was gay, that would be it. That would be the end of his career. He goes out, does a concert, and then there's this black woman talking to a female manager and is like, what the hell? How comes he gets everything and I don't get anything? And then she leaves, and then it turns out the female manager is super racist. Then the male manager, his name is Kiev, sort of turns to the female manager and is like, look, we need to do something about Simon's addictions. And the female manager, again, is just like, no, it's our job just to make sure that the public doesn't find out. He can keep doing what he wants as long as we can make money off of him. Kiev leaves, and then the female manager has a phone call, and she sets up some cameras in a bedroom. It looks like she's about to record someone having sex. Next, we go back to Connor, and his relationship with his girlfriend is dying because he's super gay. On his way to work, he runs into a dog that lives at the bar that he used to perform at with Dark Heaven. So he takes the dog back to the bar, and the guy that runs the bar is like, hey, you're an amazing guitarist, why don't you play for me? And then it's revealed that the reason Connor stopped playing guitar was because a gang targeted him. We don't know why, we just know they were paid by someone, said all these homophobic things to him, then broke his hands. And since then, he hasn't been able to play guitar anymore. He filed a report with the police, but it is heavily implied that the police just didn't do anything about this. Scene then cuts to Connor getting out of bed with some guy. The whole thing has been recorded by the female manager. And then Connor's new job apparently sucks. He's going out with the editor's daughter. So everyone just kind of thinks that he's not there on his own merit. The only reason he's there is because of his girlfriend. And then it's finally revealed that the company Simon works for actually rents off their stars, their talent, to high-profile businessmen, basically high-income celebrities and businessmen, to do sexual favors for them, and that's how the management earns a lot of their money. The plot thickens even more because shortly after this, it's revealed that 1, Kiev is actually Connor's cousin and Simon's childhood friend, And 2, the reason Simon became so famous overnight was because the amount of things he was willing to do in these sexual favors. We then go to Connor. His girlfriend's trying to seduce him, but she uses a blanket that reminds Connor of Simon and how happy he was with Simon. So while she's trying to do the do on Connor, he moans Simon's name. So she storms out, finally accepting that her boyfriend is super gay. Then, from across other sides of the city, Connor and Simon admit to themselves that they miss each other dearly. But we're gonna have to find out if they get back together the next time we talk about Dark Heaven. Next, we're gonna be talking about All About Lust. So All About Lust starts with 2 girls just walking through a hallway. They're sort of coming home at night. And then they run into a boy called Gion that makes them spook, but then they just realize, oh, it's only Gion. Apparently, Gion's been waiting there to run into a boy that he likes, but the girls point out by the fact that there's a bunch of empty cans next to him showing that he's been there for a while, it wouldn't look organic whatsoever. Gion realizes this, becomes embarrassed. Then the boy he likes turns up, he becomes more embarrassed. He doesn't get a chance to tell the boy, whose name is Sujin, that he likes him. One day he's sat on a bench and he's having sort of like this fantasy about his ideal life with Sujin. And who should turn up but Sujin? And Gion finally bites the bullet and says that I like you to Sujin. And Sujin says that he likes Gion too. Erotically though. The next scene actually starts out with Sujin and Gion having a bit of the sex, but it turns out just to be one of Sujin's fantasies. Skipping things ahead a bit, Gion's closest friend eventually begins to get suspicious of Gion because he's acting like he's going out with someone now, so she questions him on this. But before Gion gets a chance to answer, Sujin turns up and drags Gion away. This girl is named Jungmin and she has been friends with Gion for a very long time, so that's why she was being very protective. So when Gion finally gets a chance to explain to Sujin what all that was about, Sujin is like, oh, so are you going out with someone? And Gion gets very confused and flustered, and it takes a while for him to calm down. And when he does calm down, it's revealed that Sujin didn't really see what the 2 of them were doing as going out because they've only kissed a few times. They haven't done more than that. And who should overhear this whole thing but Jungmin? And of course she recognizes one of her closest friends' voice, but she doesn't recognize the other voice. After this, the 2 of them officially start dating. There's not much more to say about that other than they agree to properly go out, although it is kind of implied that Sujin sort of withdraws himself after this. He stops just randomly kissing his boyfriend. Later that day, Jungmin has figured out that it's Sujin that Gion was talking to, so she asks Gion if he's going out with Sujin. He says yes. She punches him for answering in public because as much as this is the modern world and people are more accepting of gay people, sometimes you do have to be careful. And it's a good thing too, because he really shouldn't have answered in public, because then we see that someone was listening in and being all creepy. And later on it is shown that Gion was borrowing some boys' love books because he thought that's how gay relationships were supposed to go. And Jungmin is like, no, they're not accurate, they're not real. Sujin would later be drawing Gion in lewd positions. And then he gets a phone call, goes to take the phone call. By the time he goes back to his desk from the phone call, Gion is there. There's a mysterious stranger there, arguing with one of Sujin's friends, and Gion is just kind of stuck in the middle. And it turns out that this mysterious stranger is actually one of Gion's old teachers, who's never particularly close with them. And then when this teacher leaves, he leans into Sujin and is like, take care of him. It's really creepy. And then it's later revealed that the reason Sujin has sort of withdrawn from Gion a bit is because he's convinced that Gion is going to just turn out to be straight. But then he's convinced by whoever's on the phone with him just to accept the fact that Gion really likes him and that he's not going to be hurt this time. So Sujin looks over a rooftop down at Gion, and who should be going up to him but creepy, mysterious stranger. And that's where we're gonna finish All About Lust, which really wasn't all about lust. Finally, we're going on to Dolphin Fairy. Now, Dolphin Fairy actually starts out with our protagonist wanting to kill himself. His name is Mokhwa, and he's an adult, but he feels like a failure. He doesn't really have a job. In fact, he doesn't have a job, he's unemployed. He's really struggling with life, and he just wants to end it all. And he can't even bring himself to do that. So he hatches a plan. He's going to sign up for some swimming lessons and then drown himself at the pool, making it look like an accident. He goes down to the pool, signs up for the swimming lessons, which is expensive, buys all the proper swimming gear, which again is expensive. But I think his mindset is, it doesn't really matter because he's going to try and kill himself. It's not really said what his mindset is, but I'm pretty sure that's it. He puts on the swimming gear comedically, but that's okay because we get to see butts. and buts justify everything. And by the time he's ready, it's way too early for his lesson, so he decides that he's just gonna get in the water to see how it feels, and then he begins to drown, and then his instructor comes along and saves him. And his instructor's name is Changyong. As things progress, everyone in his class is actually trying to pair Mokwa and the instructor together because they think they'd make a really cute couple, other than one woman who totally wants the instructor for herself, even though she's a married woman. In fact, all of these women are even talking about the two of them getting married, and things hit a peak when the instructor says that he wouldn't actually mind going out with Mokwa himself. However, just because Mokwa is receiving all of these compliments doesn't mean he's magically cured of his depression. In fact, he thinks that the instructor was just saying that to be nice, he still sees himself as worthless, he thinks everyone's probably annoyed by him, so he's just kind of down in the dumps. When he goes swimming next, on the way he actually runs into this kid with pink hair who he thinks follows him to the swimming pool, but actually turns out that this kid with pink hair is a good friend of the instructor. And as he turns up at the pool as well, he sees a woman leave, dropping food off of the instructor, and he doesn't realize that that's actually the woman that's been flirting with the instructor the whole time. It's a whole thing. The kid's name is either Rhino or Rhino. I'm not really entirely sure how to say it, but I'm gonna say Rhino because it sounds cool. As Mokwa goes into the pool, he's told that he can't swim yet because it's not time for his lesson. Mokwa's like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever. Rhino goes in and he's able to swim right away. So by the time Mokwa is able to actually get into the swimming pool area, he actually sees Rhino dump a bunch of dirt into the water and dive in, but before he can see Rhino actually land in the water, for some reason his instructor takes Mokwa's head away and hides it and says, looks like your lesson's cancelled for today, something's wrong with the pool. The class is cancelled, the pool is shut for the day. Next thing we see is Rhino has turned into a dolphin, specifically a pink dolphin. And that's where we're gonna leave this for today. I really love all three of these series for very different reasons. Dark Heaven I like because of the social commentary, I love the characters' emotions, and the character interactions are on point, so it fills all three of my requirements. In All About Lust, it really wasn't all about lust, but I like it for that reason. It sort of falls into this weird category that Crazy Ex-Girlfriend falls into, the TV show, where Crazy Ex-Girlfriend is not about a crazy ex-girlfriend, and All About Lust is not all about lust. And finally, Dolphin Fairy. This one out of all three of them champions how emotions are written. How it is written, depression is so accurate. Just because Mokwa is depressed doesn't mean he can't have moments where he's happy. Doesn't mean he can't be excited about something, and it doesn't mean that he can't have a crush on someone. Your depression is an aspect of your personality that is constantly there. You can't get rid of it. But it doesn't mean that it's the only thing you feel. I've seen very few things do this, and this has done it the best out of everything I've seen do this properly. So I'm really excited to see where Dolphin Fairy goes. I know I'm going to be reading it long after I do this recap series because it's actually one of my favorite things on Lezhin. Also, I realize I haven't done a swimwear cosplay, and everyone does free, so I'm going to do Dolphin Fairy and Dive when that comes out, but specifically Dolphin Ferry as well. So onto the giveaway. So in the giveaway, you will earn some coins to spend on Lezhin. With these coins, you can get some comics, and by getting these comics, you'll be supporting the artists and the creators of the comics, so that's really important. Please do it. It's so good to do because artists are struggling. I know the starving artist trope seems really romantic. It's not a fun life to live. Trust me, I've been there. I do it. I literally do it. I'm doing it right now. So to enter the giveaway, you have to sign up for an account on Lezhin. You also need to be subscribed to me here on YouTube. I will contact you personally and I will tell you if you've won the giveaway or not. But regardless of the giveaway, please go to Lezhin. Please go and check out their library. I know I've done 3 Boys Love things, but they have comics about everything. I love Lezhin so much. There's so many things there that I read, and I genuinely love reading. I'm doing some cosplay with them soon as well, so keep your eyes open for that. It's super effective! Okay guys, that is it for today, so make sure to enter the giveaway and which one of these 3 comics was your favorite, and also let me know what you thought about the format of this series so far. Please let me know in the comments down below. Also don't forget to thumbs up, subscribe, do all of the social links, and I will see you next time.